If you're seeing me right now, it's because I'm on YouTube with you. And you also, if you listen to this same podcast, the introduction is going to be completely different. So this is what's going on. This weekend was past weekend was July the 4th weekend. And so we decided to do an encore presentation. And not just any encore presentation. This is one with Dr. Jenn Burg. Jennifer Burg is some, you might know her. And she was my fitness coach. And my very first interview with my new style of interviewing, because I went from a daily podcast, oh my goodness, for 4 years, to a weekly podcast. And Dr. Jenn Burg, quite fittingly, was my first interview podcast for that new season of my life as a podcaster. And that was in November 2024. And so much has changed in my life. And if you can see that about me. You can see that I am 50 pounds lighter. Oh my goodness gracious. Not from that podcast, but from when I started with Jenn. I lost all that weight. But it's not even about weight loss. That's not what it's about. It's about transformation. It's about changing your life for the better, whether it be changing the way you do something, changing your weight, changing your fitness, all those things. But one of the biggest things I did to do that, I asked for help. And I find that if we ask for help, y'all, we're not the only ones helped. The person that is helping us is helped too. So it just all the way around, it's wonderful. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast again. And I heard so many things that I didn't hear before when I listened to it again. And so sit back and listen. But before you do, I need to thank a couple of sponsors. We don't normally do this right at the beginning, but since this is a little reverb or a redo, we're going to have to do that. So Pepsi, thank you, Buffalo Rock Pepsi. I am so thankful for you. Thank you so much, Holiday Beach Mechanical, for keeping my home running, my air conditioner, my electrical, my plumbing. I don't know what to do without you. You show up, and I have this program where I'm on a maintenance plan with them, so it's really cool. And to top it all off, if that wasn't good enough, I am involved with a company called Team Patriot, Ronnie Grisick, and they are amazing. They have a home stewardship program where you can have them inspect your home and stay on top of things and know about things before they go wrong, y'all. I cannot speak about it enough. It's wonderful. But what I want you to do right now, I want you to sit back and enjoy this redo with Dr. Jenn Burg. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. Be sweet, have fun, enjoy the show. I got my sweet, precious, amazing, vivacious, don't know what she's going to say. And so that's part of the fun. Jenn Burg, Dr. Jenn Burg. I am so freaking happy you're here. I chose for you to be my very first guest on my podcast for a reason. They'll know about that in a minute. So tell me something about yourself. Like you got a lot of education.
I do have
a lot of education.
And now I'm like getting even more. I've got my doctorate degree in nursing, which I finished a few months after Hurricane Michael hit. I have no clue how I did that, rebuilding my house. My kids' schools were destroyed and all that other stuff. But anyways, and then like after that, my whole plans changed with what I was going to do in healthcare. And I've kind of taken a step back. And then that was when I did my bucket list bodybuilding show, right? Mm-hmm. And then that completely transformed my life. And that's how I got into coaching in the first place, because I wanted to be able to take all these things that I learned and my knowledge about the human body and mind and combine those things to help change people's lives in a really meaningful and positive way. But since I've been coaching, I've realized my hands have been tied with what I can do, and I need to be able to do more. So a few months ago, I started my postmaster's family nurse practitioner program. And so since I've got my doctorate degree already, it's accelerated. So it's only 18 months. So I'll be completely done next November. And so I'm in my last didactic semester right now, which is just like the coursework. And so I'm in my last two like big milestone courses before I start seeing patients in November. So I know I'm so excited. Like, and I'm such a dork. I love to learn.
I do too. I think that's one of the reasons we love each other so much, because we get
just
really
one of the
many reasons. We get really excited when we learn new things, and we love new challenges and things like that. I'm a freak about challenges. And one of the things that I want to talk about today in light of that is you became my coach. I'll tell you, it's been 18 months. No. 12.
It's been longer than that.
It's been longer than that. It's been 20 months.
You were my second client.
20 months. 20 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been wonderful. And I know people think we're about to talk about nutrition and stuff, but that's we might talk about that a tiny bit. But the main thing of this podcast, because my whole concept of my business, podcast is how to make life brighter and sweeter for those around us and to better mind, body, and spirit. And this encompasses that, because what I discovered after getting a coach for my fitness and for my health and for my weight loss, I found out there was way more that was uncovered than my honey. I mean, way more than what's uncovered. Yeah. I mean, seriously. You're the impetus, the reason why I am now doing this weekly and not daily.
That's very true.
Yeah. Because we had a few conversations. But why do you do the education, and you said that you felt like your hands were tied. Why did you want to get this other level of education, and why do you think it's going to make it better? You're going to continue coaching, I hope.
Yeah, it'll have to change some. You know, like the actual model.
Don't make me cry right here on
oh my God,
on air.
Quit it. Like, I quit it. So dramatic.
Oh my God.
No, like, so the model of my coaching will inevitably have to change to a degree. And I'm kind of in the talks right now with some others of what does that look like? Because my ultimate goal is to impact as many people as I can on a really deep and meaningful level that changes their life forever, right? So not every client that I bring on is going to work with me forever. Like, I'll just be a season in their lives, but I hope that what I am able to give to others and to you is something that you'll always keep with you forever, like lessons that you will learn about yourself that makes you stronger. And it's just like, you know, I know you so well. I know things about you that other people don't know, because you do tell me a lot of things about your life. And I think that's an important connection to have as a coach. And you're right, like, this goes so far beyond fitness and food. It's like, what I do is I try to reach deep in and help you change from within. But you have to face a lot of things as a person to really be able to make those changes. This isn't like, you know, are you motivated this week? I don't give a crap about motivation. Like, that's a big nothing, and everybody's always waiting for that. But you know, yeah. So in thinking about how can I do more, I want to be able to change the trajectory of someone's life from a deep place of health and wellness. And I don't feel like I can do that to the degree that I want to without having this one more piece of my education and those credentials. So it was just time to actually pull the trigger and do it.
Well, I'm proud of you for doing it. But it's funny. I remember, I think I asked you one time, I said, for me, and when I finally decided, I thought about it a long time, about getting help. And you and I have talked about this a lot too. I'm a leader. It's really hard for a leader to ask for help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real, but the leader has to be led.
Yes.
You know, but I am such a leading myself kind of person. I'm a very, very, I can't put it up, very motivated, disciplined person. But in so many areas, and I had to pinpoint it and kind of really dial it down, which is kind of what happened. And I heard a quote from Jay Shetty, and this is kind of what happened to me, and I want to hear your take on it. It says, let your impediment be your invitation. Let your impediment be your invitation. And so for me, you know, I got the kids. So I'm now raising the children, 13 and 11. I'm running this big company with 140 people. I'm doing my podcast daily for 4.5 years. And I keep coming to you and I go, I want to do my cut. I want to get better. I want to finally take it to the next level. What do I do? And tell us about the conversation you had with me many, many months ago.
So we would have this conversation almost weekly for months at a time. And it was, Jennifer, I don't know how I'm going to do all this stuff. Like, I got the kids, and I don't know. I got to have them all these places. I'm trying to run this business. But God, I've got to go in a cut again. Like, I don't know. Like, I need to be this weight, and I'm trying to get my pants, and I want to look, and it's all these things that you want because you're always climbing your mountain, right? Yeah. But it's like you always want to just, like, be at the peak of that mountain all the time. And, of course, in seasons of life, like, we can't always be at the peak of the mountain. Sometimes we need to go back down a little bit, let things settle out, and then we'll go back to the top. So we had that conversation a lot. And I was like, Karen, like, let's look at one thing in your life that if you changed it, what would free up time for you? Like, what is the big time suck for you right now? And you're like, well, my podcast that I do every morning, like, it takes up a lot of time, but, like, I've got to keep doing that. I've got to keep doing that. I love to do it. It makes me happy, and others want it. And I'm like, okay, well, let's keep talking about that because you might want to consider doing something different with that, And you're like, yeah, okay. And then we'd have the same conversation every freaking week for months. And so then finally, though, this was, I guess, about 6 weeks ago, I think, finally just clicked with you. The light switch just flipped on. And we broke it down, though, and I helped you kind of break it down of what, like, hours per day of what do you spend on this. And just so y'all know, she was spending an hour or two every night, working on the plan for the next day. And then you were having to take the kids to school earlier in the morning, so they were having to go to school earlier. So it was also impacting their lives, which is impacting your life. And then you felt rushed in the gym because you had to do all those things in the morning to then get there for this 15-minute moment in your life that even though it brought you a lot of joy, it wasn't helping you. It wasn't helping you do the things that you need to do to take care of you. And so that's really what happened in a nutshell. We talked a lot. I talked to you pretty much every day, like after you made that announcement for a few days because you're struggling with it.
I was real upset about it.
Yeah. And
I felt lost.
Yeah. You
totally
felt
lost.
And it was a big change for you. And I knew that was going to be an adjustment period for you. But I mean, like tell me how it's like impacted you since you made the change.
With everything you have in your life, all of it, your impediments can be your invitation. So it was an invitation for me to dive a little deeper, go a little deeper, and to do something, because I was very comfortable doing what I was doing. Yeah. I got very comfortable working on it, doing that podcast. Never bothered me, never got scared.
Set your cell phone up.
Yeah, it did.
Comfortable, easy breezy.
Easy breezy. It wasn't a challenge at all, except for just the time. Right? Well, doing a podcast weekly and having to schedule people and figuring out and sitting in front of that camera by myself for 20, when I do my 20-minute one, it's hard.
Yeah.
This is a different level, so it's pushing me. But the first week or so, I felt really lost. I felt like I'd given up a really good friend. I mean, I did it for 4.5 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
So I felt
it's a lot of your life that you gave.
And it was weird because I'm not a numbers person, so I never even really looked to see how many people looked at it. But people came to me all the time and said, hey, this meant a lot to me. I know you don't know it, but I watch it. I go back and watch it. So it was hard, but it was the right decision. It was the right decision. And I heard something else too that's so cool. This kind of fits with this. And I saw this today and I freaked out. You're going to love this too. I read this from Brene Brown.
I love her.
Oh my gosh, I love that girl. Yeah. I read so much. That's the one thing. I read. It's just so important to me. And I was rereading the book, The Gifts of Imperfection, which you know why I'm reading that.
Probably should read that.
Yeah, it's really good for those of us that think we have to live perfectly.
We're like the same human being. She's just much smaller.
Yeah, I'm just like 10 feet tall, smaller than her. Okay, so it says, the universe is not short on wake-up calls. We're just quick to hit the snooze button. Shut up, drop the mic. The universe is not short on wake-up calls. We're just quick to hit the snooze button.
Yeah,
and
it's easy.
I knew what I needed to do. Like, I will tell you, this is a hard thing for me, and I know it's silly, but it's one of those times where you usually look at me and say, hey, listen, Linda, we're going to talk about that in a minute too. I don't want to look back at my life anymore. I'm 65. I don't want to look back and go, dang, why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
I want to look forward knowing that I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna better than try it. I'm going to put I'm going to live wholeheartedly into everything I'm doing. And part of that was my fitness, my health and fitness, because yes, I love it when people say, I just want to be healthy. I just want to live a long time. Bull crap. You're lying. I do want that, but I want to look cute. I want to look adorable.
Yes. You like to look cute. And you are so adorable.
I want to look adorable in my clothes and all that kind of fun stuff. But I look back on my life at times where I didn't look so adorable. And I guess I was just pushing it down. And so this era, I think, is the era of me becoming the best me I can be. And that includes getting coaches. Like, you're my fitness coach. And listen, okay, right here in front of everybody, your plan better not include dumping me, or we're gonna have a problem.
Public.
Yeah, I'm gonna call her out right here because I told you I'm not like, because I think you've had people that have come and gone.
Oh yeah,
but
there are definitely people that come and go.
I've come to stay.
Yeah,
because
I know.
I've come to stay,
and I've got you forever and ever. And I'll just be able to do even more for you.
Thank you. That makes me feel better because I finally realized the leader needs a leader. I've got my precious Ashley for my podcast. She does all of that. I could not do it without her. I don't even want to do it without her. I've got another friend that helps me with my Instagram reels. So I've really embraced asking for, it's hard for me to ask for help, but I'm okay with asking for help if I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
I'm not real good at asking for help.
No, you're not. You're not even, you act like you're good at asking for help if you pay for it, but you're not.
Yeah, because I think there's a level, like, if I ask too many questions, I don't want to bother you.
Yes.
I'm still bad about that.
You are. You're getting better, though.
I am.
I think, though, and I've certainly seen it in you, and I think you've probably seen it, your level of personal, internal growth, especially in the last, year, has been incredible. We've had a lot of conversations about, you really want to grow My Happy as a brand, right? And you can't grow something as a brand by keeping yourself little. And you did that for a long time because it did feel comfortable to you. You didn't know, okay, well, what does that next step look like? So, in our conversations, it's like, well, what if you did something weekly or even bi-weekly at most, but that would allow you to really have a legitimate podcast. You can bring guests on. It doesn't take up as much of your daily life, and you can plan things around that part of your life and that as a business and as a brand. And that's what you started doing. And look, now we're sitting here in my office.
I know.
We're filming what's going to be your first podcast that you put out.
Yep.
And that's exciting. I'm so freaking pumped for you.
Know.
It's exciting.
I'm excited about it too. And this will be a really good time because that's something else that I was afraid to do. I was embarrassed to ask for sponsors because, I've been paying for this by myself all these years. And that's one of the things I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a better concept about money. Yeah. And one of the things I did, I don't know, this might be something that, some of your friends or yourself might be interested in. I've got a friend, Brian Yormack, who I met from another friend, Mark Neely. And Brian Yormack has Bay Tax, and they did a cost segregation for my building.
Okay.
The Peaceful Llama building, the big pretty building. Yeah. It saved me I don't understand what this means in dollars because that's not my thing, but $700,000 in tax credits. I know that's a big number.
Oh yeah.
So it was more than $2.50.
Keep that money, honey.
It was good. So I did that with him, and they do all these payroll things. So he is really sharp, and his number will be in the show notes. And he volunteered. He came to me.
That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy? And of course, you know what? I forgot to mention the big thing is Beachy Beach Real Estate. My company. My partners believe in what I'm doing. They think every time I say happy ass, they start laughing. I think it's hilarious that I have a podcast called My Happy Life. It makes people laugh, unless you're in church and they don't laugh sometimes. But yeah, so they sponsor me too. So that's something I began to think that was worth enough for somebody to want to invest their time and money into.
And that's another level. That's beyond asking for help, right?
Yeah.
So that you already have trouble with, but asking for someone to believe in you and then show you their belief in you by putting their money behind you too. That's a huge deal. And that shows you really what you have. And we've talked about that a lot too. And it's like, you're a very authentic person to your core. However, and we've talked about this, most people don't know that part of you. Most people never see that part of you because you are the happy. I think that's a huge thing that you will have an even better opportunity to show people who you are, because you do have a lot of struggles in your life. You really do.
Girl.
And
listen, Linda.
yeah, but you are able though to push past so many of these things, and you do a lot of it on your own, even though you don't need to and you don't have to, and you are getting better by asking for help, and I think that's made a big difference in your life. But you are really building a platform, I feel like, now with this type of format that will allow you to let people really look into your life and to share that, because I think you have so much to give in that aspect that you haven't even touched on yet. And I know we've talked about this a lot, you know, so I'm waiting to see it. I'm waiting to see it, baby.
Don't y'all love this, y'all? Okay, I'm forgetting who's interviewing who here today. I
told you, I was like, what podcast is this?
That's at the beginning. I said, I'll do the intro. She said, really? You're going to do the intro? What is cool, and that's why I said, we're not even going to like talk about nutrition today. That's very important. And I have these beliefs that I have right now, and that's why my podcast is Mind, Body, and Spirit. Yeah. And I really do think you need all three.
Yeah. I
really do. And I love to have people that have left out one, and they'll say, oh, I'm great. No, you're not. Yeah. No, you're not. You're lying. And I'm lying when I say I'm great without all three. You need, and there's times in your life when it's off balance. Yeah. You know, like some are a little greater than others, but you need all three. And so for me, that's helped me to be with you. Like I said, we talk a lot about nutrition, but we talk a lot about the internal things, because those internal things are the things that keep us from reaching those things that we want to reach. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna let you just be blatantly honest. Okay, sometimes I'll call you up and I'm crazy or hell about something. I'm crazy. So
sometimes.
What? So what? I mean, you can tell what is something I'm crazy about. I get crazy, and you go, "Listen, Linda." So can they want to?
You get crazy about trying to be at your end goal when you have no place even trying to attain said goal in that moment in time. Like, you're like, Jennifer, okay, listen, I really need to go into a cut. I'm like, all right, well, let's talk about it. I'm like, what are you doing today? Well, I'm driving over to Destin. I've got a lot of stuff going on today. I've got to go to this attorney's office. I've got this meeting, but I'm driving JJ out to Destin to her theater stuff, and it's an hour and a half over here and an hour and a half back, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. No, we're not going to go into a cut right now because you can't even breathe right now. So that is what you do. Like, you'll get these wild hairs where you're just ready to be at this thing when you have no business being in that thing at that moment in time. And I think a lot of people do that, right? Like, well, like a smidgen on like nutrition and fitness and all that. So many people try to jump into things like, they're like, all right, I'm ready. I'm going to start this diet and I'm going to do it right now. They spend no time researching it. They spend no time putting together any sort of plan. And then guess what? 2 days into it, they give up because it was a horrible time in their life to try to do something like that. They had no plan whatsoever. And it was set up to be a failure. And so I try to keep you out of these moments of failure because you won't get out of your own way with it.
Because I think I can climb mountains all the time. I literally think I can.
You do. And you do climb mountains. You climb a lot of mountains. You really do. And you're really great at that. But like, my job is to tell you when it's time to stay at the base
simmer down. Yeah. Well, another one that I do that's so funny, and I don't know if you have other people that do this, like if I'm doing, like for instance, if I think my weight's up a little bit, I'm scared to get on the scale. Yeah. So like, you'll notice the last 2 days I have not. So, I mean, I haven't written it down. It's there, but I haven't written it down. I'll tell you later secretly.
Just writes it down.
I write it down,
like, that doesn't count. If she puts it in my app, it counts.
But I'll tell you first. Like, even if I cheat, If I cheat, I call you and tell you first.
I am like the confessional.
Yeah, I confess to you when I do something. It's usually in the line of eating like 3 or 4 Built Bars at one sitting.
Yes. Keep those people in business.
Oh, that would be an unpaid advertisement. I don't like protein bars. And so Jennifer in the very beginning said, I've got a protein bar for you. I said, I'm not going to like it. I don't like protein. Y'all, shut up. Built Bars are like a dad burn candy bar.
Yes.
So that is my unpaid advertisement today.
Yes, Karen is like the walking advertisement.
Oh my God. I'm surprised they haven't called me.
Built.com.
They should call me because
they should call you. You're really about the size of one of their bars.
I like that. I resemble that a mark. But so the other thing, though, that I have learned with you, so importantly, is honesty. Yeah. You know, honesty is a foundation for all recovery programs.
Sure.
All recovery programs. Because, and it's being honest with others, but it's mostly being honest with yourself.
Yes.
Because my relationship with me is the most important relationship I have. Mm-hmm. Because if I don't have a good relationship with me, I promise you, I'm not going to reach my goals. I'm not going to have those growth things and stuff like that. If you had some times in your life where you had to say, oh, I've got to get really honest about this, I'm like, have you had some times like that in your life?
Oh, yeah, I've had plenty of them. I'll tell you kind of like my most recent thing where I had to be really honest with myself is just there were all these things that were happening in my life. Like the last 6 months of my life has been a bit chaotic. And I kind of, haven't treated myself and my body, my mind, spirit, everything the way that I should have. And, I actually put out on social media the other day that we're starting over here. Like I just had a hysterectomy 6 weeks ago, total hysterectomy. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. But one of the big realizations I had was, I guess it was 3 years ago, we bought the house, like the big house on the water, that we were going to live in for a long time. And what I realized very quickly after moving there was it wasn't what I wanted. And it was giving me so much stress in my life. It was like I added a freaking part-time job into my life that I didn't have time for. So it was very stressful on me, on my husband, like our kids, because we were always having to do something to this house, and so I had to just get real honest with myself and say, you know what, I think this was a mistake. I'm glad that we did it, but this was a mistake. This isn't where I need to be, and this is taking time away from where I need to be putting it into other things in my life, whether it's my business, going back to school, my children, my health, my marriage, my other friendships, all these other things that mean so much more to me in my life and impact my life in a much greater way than some stupid big house on the water. And I've kind of been thinking about it and tossing this through my mind. Well, our old house came on the market that we lived in for 7 years, that we lived in when Hurricane Michael hit. That was the first house that I ever rebuilt before I did any of this other stuff, right? Like that was my intro into construction. And it was just like a sign. And I'm just like, you know what? I called Brandon. I was like, you're going to think I'm insane. You're going to think I'm insane. I think we should sell this house. We should move back to our old house. We can pay cash for it. We'll be mortgage free. It's a smaller house. And we love that house. Like I designed everything in it. I rebuilt it. And he was like, let's freaking do it. And we did it. And I cannot explain to you how taking that big thing out of my life has positively impacted me in so many ways. It's like spilled over into every bit of my life. But it took me recognizing like this wasn't the path that I needed to be on right now. And be able to take a step back from it. It was a pretty big deal, like having to sell the house. Like it wasn't just like, I was like, well, I'm going to stop reading this book over here because I don't like it. This was a huge deal. It was a big life change. Again, but it's like, I'm happier. Brandon's happier. Our kids are happier. I'm able to have more time to take care of me without that stress and worry and the time suck that it was.
That's awesome. Yeah. I was shocked when you did that. I thought, who leaves the water to move inland? I was still just, that was so shocking. But, a lot of our lives is not so much just the doors we open, but it's the doors we close. Yeah. And had another lesson in that the other day, because part of what you and I have talked about is me not overcommitting, you know, and when I got the kids, I didn't change my life. I literally kept doing all the things.
You did.
And well, I did change my life, but I didn't change my life.
Right.
I mean, I kept on doing everything.
You just squeezed more into a very small bucket.
So I was trying to fit getting the kids and all their activities, all their educational needs, all the things, and do everything else.
Yeah.
And I kept saying yes to everything. And just the other day, I went to a board meeting, and I wasn't in there 15 minutes that I got a phone call and I had to hop up and leave. And it made me remember that I can't say yes to those things right now. Right. It's not no forever, but it's no for now.
Right.
You know, same with you going to school.
Yeah.
You've had to say no to some things.
Yes.
You know, and not forever.
Right.
But for now.
Yeah.
You know,
and we've had this conversation too, and it's like I believe these exact verbatim words to you. It's like, if you have to ask yourself when someone approaches you with something new, does this serve me well? Does this bring me joy? Does this get me closer to my professional goals? Does this get me closer to my personal goals? And does this get me closer to my health goals? And if the answer is yes to any of those things, then you should consider it. If the answer is no, then it's a no for right now. And that's okay. And I know that's been a big adjustment for you. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's been a big topic that we've talked about.
And I'm really doing that, which I think is so funny. I've been wanting to go back to therapy, but I don't have time because the children and school and work. I mean, not school. You're going to school. I'm not going to school. Work. I'm going to school of life. I'm in the school of life. School of life. But, you know, a lot of my therapy happens by talking to you, which is really cool. I am going to ask you this one thing. What do you think? And I hope this doesn't make you uncomfortable, because I won't always be politically, I want to be, I want to be respectful to others. And I've changed mine a little bit just because I have some friends that have been positively impacted. But when I asked you, because right now, the whole world, it seems, is on Exempit, semaglutide, all the GL1 thingamadoodles. GLP-1s. And I know they talk about on Mind Pump even, which kind of cracks me up. But so, do you have thoughts on how people can do that in a healthy way?
Yes. So I think there are definitely people who are really good candidates for those drugs, especially the type 2 diabetics, which is who they were intended for, right? I think they're being grossly abused for sure. You've got a lot of providers that are just, giving people these injections and then giving them no sort of coaching or guidance or anything else to go along with them. So, and I do have a couple clients that are on them as, supplementation, but they're appropriate for them. And they're also seeing a provider that is appropriately dosing them. That's the other thing, is a lot of them are really being mismanaged in how they're being dosed or getting way too much for what they need them for. So, the big thing is when you take these drugs, you got to understand it is the most potent appetite suppressant to ever hit the market ever. Okay. So just the very short snippet of mechanism of action of how these drugs work is, so GLP-1 is a hormone that's naturally produced in your body, right? As soon as the first bite of food touches your mouth, your body starts releasing the GLP-1, okay? And there are receptors in your brain and your stomach and your intestines where these, it'll go to those, okay? So whenever you start to eat, they float around, they go to all these places in your body, and then it tells your body, hey, I'm full, okay? So whenever you're taking these injections, those receptors are always full with the GLP-1, okay? So that's why you're never hungry when you take this drug. So you got to understand that first and foremost, like you're losing this weight because you're not eating nearly as much. So anybody who goes into a caloric deficit, you're going to lose weight. What kind of weight are you losing, though, is the really important thing that isn't talked about enough. And so these are very much a muscle wasting drug. And you know how hard it is to build muscle because you work
harder than you can imagine.
It's very hard, and especially as you get older, it's even harder to build muscle, okay? After the age of 35, we start losing around 3% of our muscle a year, and it only goes up as you get older if you're not doing something to maintain it. So when you get on these drugs, you've got to understand you have got to make sure that you're at least getting enough protein in each day. At least getting enough protein so that you're trying to hold on to as much lean muscle mass as you can, and you've got to start strength training. It doesn't have to be, like a full-on, bodybuilding. It doesn't even have to be as much as you're necessarily doing, but you've got to start lifting some weights. Otherwise, you're going to lose a ton of your muscle mass. And so here's the concerning thing that I see with these drugs long-term that is not really being talked about yet, is the implications for the elderly population years after they've taken this drug, okay? Because whenever you lose so much muscle mass, and that's a lot of what people are losing in the weight, because you'll notice their face gets very sunken in. They talk about like Ozempic face, things like that. It's because you're actually losing those muscles and everything in your face along with the fatty tissue as well. But whenever you're losing all this muscle, that's what protects your bones. That's what protects all those things. And so let's say that someone who's 60 years old starts taking one of these drugs, right? Let's say that they're on it for 2 years. And I mean, you're really supposed to take it forever. It's not a drug that's meant to take for a period of time and then you get off of it, because then, those receptors are now empty and you're ravenous and your appetite comes back, and then you gain all that weight back. I mean, it's proven, like it's in all the literature that that's what happens. So whenever you lose all that muscle mass with that weight, let's say you've got someone who's 300 pounds and then they go down to 150 pounds, okay? So their body fat to muscle ratio when they gain weight back is going to be even worse than it was when they started. So they're going to technically be more obese than they were when they started, because they'll have their percentage of body fat to muscle will be even greater than it was before, because they hadn't been doing anything to maintain it. So the best advice I can give to someone who is on these drugs is to, if you don't want to seek out a coach, at least go online and try to find some sort of strength training plan that you can do, and strength train just 2 to 4 days a week. Just minimum 2. 4 is the ideal number, and that's where I have you train.
That's
right?
what I do.
I have all my clients train 4 days a week. I think that's the magic number. So if you don't want to get a coach, at least look online and do that. Preferably get a coach that can help, to figure out what you need to be doing strategically for you and for yourself and what your body actually needs. And then please seek out nutritional help. Find a coach, find a nutritionist, find someone who can really help you and teach you how to eat and maintain. Otherwise, you are going to lose so much muscle mass that you're going to have yourself in a really bad place. Really bad. And not to mention the other nutritional deficits that you're going to have from not eating very much, because you're going to be malnourished. So you're not going to get the vitamins and nutrients and these things that you need for your body to fully function. So those are very, very important things that people need to be aware of and seek out, additional help with.
Yeah, and that's been my thing with and I like it. We talked a little bit earlier about Mind Pump. Mind Pump is a podcast that I listen to that's amazing. They're great guys, and they're a lot about nutrition, fitness, a lot about weight training, and which I'm a huge proponent of. I mean, I hardly do any cardio. My cardio is like steady state cardio.
See,
I'm
I hardly make her do any cardio.
I mean, it is
right here.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful, and I think we got to grind it out in the gym and burn. And I love it. They said burning calories is an awful weight loss plan. Yeah. It's an awful weight loss plan. Awful. Because you don't. There's so much that goes into it. That's why, sleep, eating well, thinking well, not stressing your body, because stress will make you, listen, I want to tell you something. If you could reduce stress in your life, that's a great weight loss plan.
Oh, yeah.
Because that cortisol is for real. Yeah.
When
it is for real.
Spiked all day and night, you're gonna have a really hard time.
It is for real, and I'm really working on that. So I wanted.
You're doing better. I'm really proud.
I am doing better.
This is a big step for you.
Big step. Well, it took me a long time to do it too. A lot of conversations, But the reason why I asked you that question about Ozempic is because I have a friend who has taken I don't know which one she's taken, one of the GL ones, but. Oh my gosh, she's wanted to lose weight forever. She is doing so good. I'm so proud of her. But I'm on her ass every week. Yeah. Are you working out? Working out? And I know people are getting sick of hearing me say that, but I'm hoping maybe I don't have to say it anymore. They'll just see what has happened in my body. Because if you don't, this would be my advice to people. If you're going, Karen, I'm not about all that count macros and stuff, which, by the way, it's super easy. I do it
And you
every
told
day.
me for a long time you would never do that. Yeah, before I ever started coaching, I was counting macros.
Yeah.
And we had one
Yeah.
of the first times I'd ever met you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I ain't never.
What the hell?
Macro mess. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And now,
Little did we know.
and now when I go on vacation, I don't like it when I don't get to count my
You're a
macros.
control freak.
It's so funny. Yeah. I want to pull my scale out at the restaurant. That looks kind of tacky,
I could totally see you doing that though, and posting online like, look, Jennifer, I brought my scale to the Red Lobster.
Well, in fact, I took another picture. I take
Where
pictures
the
of,
Red Lobster came from. It's Red Lobster. Why is this the first thing that comes to my mind?
well, they did have good biscuits, actually. So I take pictures of myself all the time eating like my cottage cheese and my fruit and sitting on the bench and just weird places, what everybody else is eating. I'm eating like a lavash wrap with my hamburger. I did that yesterday.
You do really good.
I ate a hamburger with lavash
committed.
wrap. Yeah, I'm committed. Yeah. And the difference is now is I'm in a cut right now and I'm working on it, and I was really happy because I was going down the scale and then that little son of a gun scale was going right back up. So I want you to talk about that a minute, because I think a lot of women are like me.
Yeah.
We're freaks about the stupid scale.
Yeah.
I do think the scale is a good tool.
It is.
I don't want to give up my scale. But explain to the women out there that struggle and are crazy about the scale. You sent me a joke one time about a woman taking out her contacts before she weighed. And you said, this is you. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yeah, like every stinking gram counts for Karen. So, fear of the scale is such a big thing. It's rampant.
Yeah.
I took on a client one time that she's like, I don't own a scale. It's a trigger for me. Like, she actually used to have a really bad eating disorder. And I told her, I was like, look, the scale is just one tool that we use. Like, that is not a problem, because she thought I wouldn't work with her if she didn't weigh herself. And I'm like, that's not a problem. It's helpful for me to be able to see it. But, like, if it's a trigger for you, we're not going to do it. Because what we are going to look at is, how are your clothes fitting? How, like, when you look in the mirror, like, how do you look? How do you feel? Like, when you, touch your body, like, are you feeling smaller? Are you feeling like your muscles are tighter? Like, those are the most important things that we're looking at as far as actual body recomposition, which, of course, as you know, is where we build lean muscle mass and we lose body fat at the same time. And so that's what we're looking for. When you do that, the scale moves down a lot slower because you are building that muscle. It's like, I've got another client right now that the scale has been very slow for her. She's an interesting case, but holy crap, she looks good. Like, she looks really good, and she gets stopped all the time. People are like, man, have you lost like another 10 pounds? She's like, actually, the scale is staying the same, and she'll kind of get mad about it. But I'm like, look at yourself. This is why we do progress photos, so that you can really see those changes that are happening. So it's like, yes, the scale is one tool that we use, but we use progress photos. Again, how are your clothes fitting? How do you look and feel? All these other things. How are you sleeping at night? How is your libido? Like, all these things that, I'm looking for as a coach and a provider to make sure that what we're doing is working for you.
It's so funny. I love, used to, I had my sweet, precious husband, because when I would get ready every day, he'd go, oh, you look so cute. You're so adorable. So when I think I'm especially cute, I send a picture to Jennifer. She does. From dressing rooms.
Yes.
Yeah, but, it's just, this is the thing. I love seeing humans do what they're built to do. It makes me very happy. I truly believe in doing this podcast, writing my blogs. I wrote an adorable blog this morning. You need to go read it. It's really cute.
Okay, I'll go.
I think I did a really good job, by the way.
I'll go read it.
Those are the things that mean so much to me. I feel like I'm put here to do, and I'm 65. I don't know how much time I've got left, but I want to pack it in with all the things that God has designed for me. And I see you doing that. You said you're about to be 40. Mm-hmm. So you're making decisions.
Like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, so you're doing that in your life. And I think, are you still taking on clients?
Oh, yeah.
You taking on clients?
Yeah, I'm going to have to limit, though, in a couple months. I'm going to have to limit, like, put myself at a cap. I'm very close to the cap.
Okay. And I know was one thing I wanted to ask you that I wrote down. Notice I haven't even looked at my notes. It's at I wrote my notes down.
I told you we had no plan.
I know. I know. Well, this
Act like
this is
your podcast.
this is how we.
Please.
But yeah, so I wrote myself a note that said, I know that many people start but don't follow through. That kind of makes me sad because what I know, you really can't have growth in your life until so much part of your backward movement is part of the forward movement.
Yeah.
It's all necessary.
Yes.
It is so necessary. So it makes me sad when people start, because I know a lot of them have started. And I'm not naming names or anything. I just have seen people start and stop.
Yeah.
They start, and they're with you, say, a month or two, and they stop. And I'm going, you haven't even had a chance to become.
Yeah.
You haven't even started. I mean, you've been like a baby. You know, when they're like a year old, go, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. You know, I'm walking now. Who cares? Nothing else is happening. You know, it's sad to me. Do you see a trait in people who don't quit?
Yeah.
Is there a trait in the non-quitters like me? I am not quitting, baby.
There are people that are born with it, and there are people that learn to look for it. So I heard something one time, not that long, it was probably a couple years ago, and it was so impactful to me. And it was, I can't remember who said it, where it was, but they said, if you don't seek out struggle in your life, struggle is going to come find you. And
amen.
It just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I realized I seek struggle. Mm-hmm. I can't explain why I seek struggle, but I do. And you know this about me because I'm also an overachieving maniac, and I'm always trying to climb a mountain. I grow so much when I struggle. Mm-hmm. That's where I learn. That's where everybody learns. And I think just as human beings and in nature over time, you know, as people have evolved, we don't have to struggle anymore. Everything's easy now, right? And everybody loves easy. Everybody wants the easy button and, you know, easy way to lose weight and, you know, easy way to be fit and easy way to make your business go from, you know, making a logo to making $10 million a year. And it's just like everybody wants that to be easy. No one wants the struggle. So people think that they want the outcome, but they don't want to go through the struggle to get there. They don't want to face that struggle. Mm-hmm. And so I think there are more people than not that don't want to ever face that struggle. They don't want to feel it. Mm-hmm. They don't want to look at it. What was the quote you said earlier? Your impediment?
Oh, that your impediment be your invitation.
Yeah, so it's kind of along those lines, right? And it's like, I know the things that I suck at. Mm-hmm. And there will be times that I hide from them because I don't want to deal with it right then. And I think it's the same with everything, just like we're talking about, whether it's your health, your fitness, your business, your whatever it is. So many times we don't want to face that impediment. We're not ready to face it yet. And I will say this. Hurricane Michael was one of the best things that ever happened to me because I found out what I was made of. Because that was in my life one of the greatest struggles that I had dropped in my lap in an instant. In one moment, I had to figure out who I was going to be. Was I going to be weak, cry about it, complain, run away, or was I gonna man the hell up essentially and figure this out? And of course I did the latter, but in that time I figured out what I was actually made of. I found out who I was, and I loved how it tasted. I loved that. I loved who I became after Michael. And then I wanted more of it. And that's where the bodybuilding stuff came from. And of course, like, I have a weird bucket list, and it's an ever-growing bucket list. But I wanted a taste of that struggle. Damn, I got it. I got it. And it changed my life. And it's like, I told my buddy Kirsty that I competed with, I told her at the gym, my first day back at the gym, you know, it was last Thursday. And I told her then, I was like, man, I need some struggle in my life. Like, I'm about ready to do this again. You know, I can't do it right now, probably like next spring, but like, I can do things now that I have to do to like lead up to being ready to, you know, get ready for that. But I just love it. I love the taste of it and just who I am when I'm struggling. Because it takes all the other things that aren't really issues out of your life. You know, it's like you've had some real serious struggles the last few months. And then it made all those other little things that you were worried about seem so freaking insignificant, you know? And so I think that's it though, Karen. It's like so many people just don't want it. But I think if they ever really doubled down and they got a taste of what it really felt like, I think they would want more of it. But it's hard getting people past that hard part. And you know, the first like 2-3 months of doing this, that is the hardest part. So it's like you've got to be able to dig down deep, and that's where we do a lot of this deep mind work. That's why we don't talk about food in the gym very much at all anymore. We do that deep mind work, and that's what I really love to get into. But that's where things really change for people. So it's like you really do need, like how you talked about, you have coaches now. You need people to help pull you through that. You know, pull you through that hard part and get you to the other side, because you've got the want. Do you have the will? That's always the question.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, and I know we got to come to Jen and I probably could sit here and talk all
We can
dad
talk for 3 hours.
burn
Y'all be
day,
with us by
all
then.
dad burn day. But you know, you mentioned a while ago motivation, and that is just such a silly thing, because y'all, motivation comes and goes. It really does. And people will tell me, they'll go, "I'll move when I'm motivated." I go, "No, you won't. You'll never move then,
sit
because
still for the next 6 months.
movement creates motivation.
Yes.
Movement creates motivation, not the other way around." Energy begets energy. I love when people say, "I'm just too tired. I'm too tired." I go, "You're too tired because you ain't doing nothing."
Yeah.
When you're sitting on your butt doing nothing, you get really, really, really tired, you know? So one other thing that you've helped me do, because I am really, I don't like it when you call me a perfectionist, 'cause I'm really not a perfectionist. I'm not I'm not about most.
Play along.
But when I decide to do something, I want to do it really well. I want to do it wholehearted. I'm a wholehearted person.
Yeah.
And about everything. So that's why I have to really choose what I do, because I know I'm going to be wholehearted with it. You know what I mean?
You're all in.
All in. So one thing that I was so proud of myself, for one solid year, y'all, maybe over a year, I did not miss one day in the gym. I'm talking, I think it was 14 months before you finally told me, "It's okay."
Yeah.
You can
I made you take a break.
You made me take a week off.
When you had your little health situation, I made you take
Yeah,
a week off.
and you told me that it should be a wake-up call. I shouldn't hit the snooze button on that one.
Yeah.
And stress was literally killing me.
Yeah, it was.
Was literally killing me.
That was
literally killing me.
I was
Yeah.
legitimately worried about you at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, and I didn't know enough to be worried, but something inside of me said something's got to change, and so I did. So even now, I was such a freak about it. I literally, you know, you saw me. I went to the gym at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. I'd go whenever.
You would get it in.
I would get it in. I'm talking. I'd be in Arizona. it didn't matter. This girl found a way to do it, didn't I?
You did.
Didn't miss a one.
You didn't miss
So,
one.
so proud of myself. What happened to me when I let go of my notion of being perfect about it, I thought, wait a minute, Karen. If you have a day where you're exhausted because you've literally been in the car for 12 hours and you've worked and you've done all these things, you've done everything, and which rarely I get tired. I'm a freak. I don't get tired, which is really weird. It's really weird. But when I feel like my body needs a break, I need to go, you know what? Give my body a break. So now there's even been a couple. Well, I lied. Only one time when I didn't get all 4 in the week, that I did my 4th workout early Monday morning. So I've done that one time, but now I'm not as freaky about it. Yeah. If I go on vacation and I don't have a gym that's equipped, I make up my own exercises. I make sure I do what I need to do, but I'm not as crazy about it. So part of becoming who God intends me to be is learning a lot about who I'm not. Learning to be more authentic. I'm still working on that people pleasing thing. I get so excited. I call her up and I want a smiley face. I go,
You're gonna be at your funeral, like popping out, like, "I'm so sorry to inconvenience y'all to come here today."
I hope it wasn't an inconvenience.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Did you have a meeting you were supposed to be at?
But I guess my message for everyone hearing us talk today is, if you feel like you need a coach in your life, which we all do.
Yeah.
We all need
Coaches need coaches.
Coaches need coaches. Please do that, because what you don't realize is you're not just giving a gift to yourself. You're giving a gift to your coach. Because I know when I mentor people a lot in my business, and I get so much joy watching people achieve and become more of who God created. It gives me way more joy than them. Sure. And do you feel like that as a coach? Do you feel like there's days when the people you're coaching give you more than you feel like you're giving?
Yes. This is, because I'm a perfectionist too. You can say you're not a perfectionist. I'll play along still. We're perfectionists. So I will usually every week, and it's normally on Monday. I'm probably a horrible coach. All my clients probably hate me. And then I'll do all my check-ins every week, because we do formal check-ins every week. And every single call, I'm like, wow, like this is really making a difference. And everybody's so different and what they need. You know, I coach different for everybody. But like for me, I do feel like I'm living out God's plan for me and doing what I was put here to do, which is to help others be who they're supposed to be, you know. And it's like, but it's in return for me. So it's like, I value what we have so incredibly much. So it's like, don't ever tell me I'll dump you anyway. So, but it's like when we talk though, and of course we talk about a lot of other things and deep things and things like that. I get so much out of those conversations too, even if it's just validation that I'm where I need to be, because I was able to be there for you in the way that you needed me that day, you know. And you've needed a lot of different versions of me over time. You know, you've needed me to be tough, you've needed me to be loving, you've needed me to be a friend, just a shoulder to cry on, listen, just, you know, all these things. But you need different parts of me at different times in your life. And I love that. That to me is so fulfilling and fun. And it just lets me know with each person that I talk to, I'm where I need to be, or at least I'm on my way there.
That's so cool. I've just loved this time with you. And I'm trying to think, there was something that I wrote. Oh, I love this. I wrote this down. It says, coaches help people recognize their strengths without becoming complacent. And they also allow you to see your weaknesses, but not get discouraged by them. Yeah. And I wrote this down. It said, neglected things do not get better. Neglected things do not get better. So if you're in a place in your life where you feel like there's something you've been neglecting, it's not going to get better. You know, things don't get better on their own. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes sometimes letting go. Yeah. Sometimes letting go. And I have absolutely just so much love this time with you, and I'm so thankful for Beachy Beach. I'm thankful for Bay Tax, for loving me enough and believing me enough to actually pay for this podcast so I could get it out there. Isn't that crazy?
It is great.
So I'm going to ask you something that I'm asking everybody at the end. And I love what you said earlier. You said something about people expect life to be easy. They don't want the challenge. And there's this great coach, and I'm going to try to find her name and put it in the show notes, but she's a coach. And she says, we just have to learn how to do hard better. We have to learn how to do hard better. And so can you tell me what's something that you do in your life to find you're happy in the hard? How do you find you're happy in the hard? What is one tip you could leave everybody with today?
I find my happy in the hard, again, by feeling that growth within. Like when I do something hard, the fulfillment that it gives me to know I did that and I learned something from it, that really makes me happy. I mean, it lets me know that I'm growing. And more than anything, I always want to grow and I always want to evolve and be better in life. My greatest fear is to live a mediocre life.
That's crazy. I thought that on the way over here.
Dropped your pen.
I dropped, instead of mic drop, it was pen drop. So mind blowing. I love how this wraps up. I love, 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 love real life. I said on the way over here, I said, God, please, please keep me from a mediocre life.
Stop it.
Teach me. Yes, teach me what you would have me to do. I do not want a mediocre life. That's what I said on the way over here. That was my prayer.
That is so wild. That really is
I
freaky.
know. I love you, Jennifer, with all my heart. You really changed my life in so many ways. I definitely look way cuter in my clothes. But
Obviously.
but better than that, I think I've got a track to run on to live a long, healthy life so I can do this, so I can make a difference in the lives of others, mind, body, and spirit. And I hope you and I can continue to do that together. And we're going to have a part 2.
I know.
Definitely do a part 2.
Like,
Yeah.
quarterly.
Yeah, I really love it.
Well, like we have conversations like this though
All the time.
All
the time.
This is not unusual.
Bless. We did really good today, though. We didn't cuss or anything.
I think I said shit one time.
You do? Okay, y'all. I listened to that episode again before we replayed it, and I got so much out of it. Jenn has changed my life so much. She now has a medical practice 2 doors down from Beachy Beach, so that's really cool. She specializes in women's health, really into hormone health, but so many things. And listen, y'all, I know this about her. She changed my life so much. And this is not a paid advertisement. This is just a testimonial of what Jenn Burg did in my life. And you've seen it. Y'all watched it. Y'all been watching me on my what was first my Happy A life and now Be Sweet, y'all, and how I've transformed in mind, body, and spirit. So I just hope you've loved it as much as I have. But before I go today, I want to thank so very much a few other sponsors of this new format. And one of those is Hue Salon, which is one of my very first sponsors. Thank you so much, Hue Salon. They won't love my hair today because it's kind of cray-cray, but they do such a great job there. Thank you, Rebecca. Minutes and Miles, you see my workout videos all the time. I get all my stuff from there. Shore House Furniture, they are delightful. I have a little segment called Shore House Happy where I just talk about fun, happy stuff, insightful stuff, and call it Shore House Happy. So please visit them. And it's the holiday week. We're still going to be the holiday season when you get this. So during this season, when you get tired of cooking hamburgers and tired of all that stuff, and you're sick of cooking, go to Ferrucci's downtown and something's cooking. I promise you, you will not regret it. And y'all, if you're wondering why I look cute, it's because I go to Elysium Med Spa. Elysium Med Spa, they give me my Botox, they do my facials, so many things. I mean, they even have like IVs when you don't feel good and stuff like that. I kind of use her as my medical provider because I don't have one right now. They do gynecological services. So many things you can get from Elysium Med Spa. And y'all, I owe my cute clothes to 2 special boutiques. And that is Gypsy Willow, which you see I've got on. If you're on YouTube, you can see I have this darling scarf. It's so cute. I love it. I love it for our 4th of July celebration time. And also a more boutique. So I love boutiques. So, and I know you do too. So thank them. Go shop with them. I love y'all so much. And I'm so excited that we're almost 2 years into this podcast journey of doing it weekly, and you are such a part of that. And if you want to be a sponsor part of that, please let me know, because I'll be accepting new sponsors as other sponsors fall off. It'll start in, I believe, September will be the new season. But thank you so much for loving me and being a part of this. Oh, be sweet, y'all. Bye.